Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and our next Escape from Tarkov news video, our Today in Tarkov, as the community so lovingly calls them. We got a bunch of news this week actually, so let's not waste any time. We're going to get right into it, get you guys caught up to date, and we'll finish off with a little bit of an economic report for a question I get asked constantly about sugar, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first things first, probably the most exciting and scary news for the day is vaulting. So Nikita shared a picture, screen grab. It looks like it's in their test thing of a PMC vaulting over some setup obstacles. Now, this is something that Nikita's been talking about for quite a while. So it's going to be cool to have it because now like little curbs and fences aren't, you know, giant Jurassic Park fences that your PMC can't get through. We'll be able to get over stuff, get around the map a lot better. But with that means that we're probably going to have a very broken game. I said that I'm equally part excited and terrified of this because I can just see it now trying to vault out of a window of dorms and customs and getting launched into the stratosphere or something along those lines. I imagine is going to happen. It's just kind of the process. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it'll be better when we get it, but I'm not going to hold my breath. We're just going to have to get it and put up with it for a little while. And, you know, have those moments where you go to vault over a tree stump and then break both your legs or die or something silly like that. So we'll just have to wait and see. After that, we got another tweet here with them banning another 5,700 cheaters. I don't think it's exactly 5,700. I haven't counted it. Who knows if it's exactly 5,700? I guess you could go through and look. They got the list as usual in a spreadsheet format. I guess you could go count it if you wanted to. That is in basically 7 days. The last one we saw was on the 17th, I believe. So that's 7 days. So that's about 800 a day. What that means, I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. There's obviously going to be a placebo effect for some folks where they say the games feel better. Me being one of them, I hate to admit it, but it does feel like things are different, though I 100% admit it's probably just a placebo effect. And then you have folks on the other side that say that this doesn't mean anything, that it's not real, that, you know, until BSG gets the best non-existent anti-cheat out there, that it doesn't even matter, blah, blah, blah. Take this information for what you will with it. I'm not going to pick sides. Another update we got was fence reputation. We got a huge buff to fence rep on the positive side. I'll go through these real quick. It says basically at max level, at max loyalty level, which is 6.0 and above, 6 scav karma. Fence now restocks items more frequently and prioritizes higher quality items. So this has to do with what he sells. I'm going to show you guys here real quick. You go to fence and you have max loyalty level, which I do. I'm at, what am I at now? I'm at 8.16 fence rep. If you go to where he sells stuff only on his max, what would be loyalty level 4, and look around, this is stuff that's only available to you at this level versus everything else. So supposedly he stocks items that are left in raid by PMCs that are not insured, though I think it has to do scavs, everything else. Some people think that's bullshit and it's just randomly generated stuff. I don't know. There's no way to prove it one way or the other, from near as I can tell. But supposedly that stuff refreshes and there's more stuff there, which it does look like it to me. I feel like there's been more things showing up the last couple of days, and I hunt this constantly. I'm always buying stuff here to craft, so that's where I'm basing that assumption off of. Scav PMC extracts give more reputation now. I haven't tested this yet. The vehicle extracts do give more XP. I noticed that. I guess it's 0.4 now for the first time you take it, which I couldn't test because I'm already past that, but I was already burned through. I had taken car extract I don't know how many times, and then the last time I used it, it gave me like 0.04, which was a lot more than it should be giving, like 0.01, but it was 0.04. So take whatever it is that means. You get a little bit more XP, makes it a little bit easier to grind that out. Vehicle extracts are cheaper. I think on the low end it's like 1,300 now. I think that's what I get charged to take vehicle extracts, so it's super cheap. Fence pays more items, more for items sold to him, and this is actually kind of a big deal. I don't know if this goes up as you level, but I know this has changed quite a bit. So for example, if you go look at flash drives, you can see them for like 1,400, right? Like, so I can come in here and buy all these flash drives right now. I'm just going to do it to show you guys. And then I can go to fence and sell them for 20,000. I just bought all those for like 14K. So I can make money doing that. And this works with slim diaries, SSDs, SAS drives. You know, SSDs are selling for as low as 34,000. You can see they're pushing 40 now. The SASs go anywhere from like 35 up to 40. You know, you're seeing 42, stuff like that. So you just kind of keep an eye on those. All of these things you can make a little bit of money on. The slim diaries, these jump all over the place. But that's where that comes in. He doesn't quite pay the same as other traders, so it isn't a huge effect right now as far as other items. So maybe we'll see changes to that in the past. I don't know. Scav character cooldown is reduced. I think my scav timer is like 2.5 minutes or maybe 3.5. I don't remember exactly. It's really short. If I have a good scav raid, usually the amount of time it takes me to get all my gear unloaded, vendored, and everything out of the way, my scav is usually ready to go again, which is cool because we've been using that to do scav armies and stuff with the guys when we're streaming, which is a lot of fun, which I guess that's a call to action there. I do stream over on Twitch. Come over and say hi if you happen to see me on. Scav box timer is reduced. This is... my scav box is so fast. I'm like an hour and a half on Moonshine. It's like an hour and 36 minutes or something like that. So those are definitely sped up with max karma. And then amount of available scav extracts is increased. This only matters on a couple of maps because once you get to 6.0, you get them all anyways. But as at lower levels, like Scav Karma 2 and 3 and 4, you have more extracts available, which is really handy on some maps because it means you can get out pretty much anywhere you want. So that's pretty much it for the scav, the fence rep stuff. The other tweet we got was another like update on upcoming fixes. We don't have a date for this stuff. We don't even know if it's coming out in 1, 2, 3, or 6 patches. This is just the estimated plan of changes, fixes, improvements that will be included in the upcoming technical updates. That's BSG's wording for it. So the first one's going to be further improvements of Oculus audio on Reserve, Interchange, and Shoreline, which is huge because those maps audios are just completely busted. I love Reserve. It's one of my favorite maps, even despite what the Underground and D2 did to it. I can't stand playing it right now because the audio just makes it miserable to play. Interchange is right there with it as well. And Shoreline, the audio is just as bad, but because the map is a little bit more contained and you don't have so many directions to worry about, the bad audio isn't as bad there, though it still is pretty terrible. So that's good. New version of DLSS is coming out. Not sure. I don't use DLSS because of how gunky the scopes look with it. Maybe this will fix that with a new version. Who knows? We'll have to test it when it comes out. Visual corrections to remove fog inside rooms, basements, bunkers on Reserve, and Interchange. So anybody who's tried to be down in the cage area on Reserve, you know that you can have fog and it can be hard to see, or inside buildings, and especially Interchange. So this will be really cool. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, but hopefully they figure out a way. This could help a ton with the lighting issues on Interchange and some of the other problems. So excited to see that. That's a good note to finally see. A notification system for banned cheaters based on player reports. So if you report somebody for cheating and they get banned, that's going to come up and say, hey, you reported so-and-so, or maybe it might just say you reported somebody and they got banned. Hopefully it'll give us a name and say, hey, you reported this person and they got banned. And Chad actually came up with an idea, which would be really cool. I don't know if anybody from BSG watches this, but if they are, Chad had an awesome idea. I can't remember who came up with it, but if one of your friends list, somebody on your friends list gets banned for cheating, it would be really cool if like a notification went out to everybody that person was on their friends list saying that, hey, your buddy got banned for this, because that's public shaming. And that's going to be one of the only ways we can get people to hopefully not be so eager to partake in cheating, is a little bit of public shaming going on. Now, aside from that, we've got geometry and lighting fixes for Streets of Tarkov. There's just lots of little glitches that happen on streets. You see them here and there, sometimes with NVG, sometimes in the daytime, sometimes looking through windows. So it's just going to be part of that process of constantly fixing those. More networking fixes aimed at improving connection stability and reducing the number of disconnects while loading into raid. These seem to have been getting slightly worse in the last couple of weeks. So any fixes for that's obviously a positive thing. Get some of those bugs ironed out that have to do with that. Improvements to UI for putting offers on the flea market based on previous balancing changes. So with some of the systems they've done, they're probably going to remove the whole place work, because you can technically kind of click for barters and things like that. So they're probably going to clean all that stuff up, get rid of it, get the system updated for what it is now. And then more bug fixes in the grouping system and AI. Like, for example, if you're doing scav and you invite people, the number 3 and 4 slots show their PMC and not their scav. They don't load in with their PMC, it just shows them. So little things like that are probably going to be fixed. And then they're going to start the transition to Unity 2021. Now this one, I can't believe this is one of the changes. that are the last on the list here, because to me, this is one of the biggest ones out there because of the potential effects these engine updates have, not just on the team for Tarkov, but other aspects in the game. Some of the things that, for example, cheaters use are not things that BSG has done wrong necessarily, or things that BattlEye can't catch because they're flaws in the engine themselves. And by fixing that and getting up to speed with more other game engines like Unreal or any other engines out there that are more centric towards games. Because Unity isn't primarily a gaming engine. It gets used for tons of other stuff. And one of its weakest aspects is in the side of gaming, especially multiplayer gaming. And I've gotten that from reading lots of reviews, and not reviews, but articles and things that talk about that. I'm not a programmer myself, so it's all secondhand, so take it with a grain of salt. But hopefully this brings that, not to mention more stability, network stability, all sorts of things can potentially come with upgrades of Unity 2021. And I'm sure somebody down in the comments who knows 100 times more than me is going to chime in, and I hope so, because then I can learn more about it than just me blindly stumbling around the internet. So these are all upcoming. We don't know when. We don't know. They could be next week, they could be next month, they could be next patch, but it's just at least it's a little bit of communication telling us what they're doing. Now, after this, we got a thing I just want to quickly mention. There was a bunch of issues with Tarkov, connection issues. This was on Thursday. Game was crashing, back-end errors, all sorts of problems. Happens from time to time, and though BSG said they were working on it, it doesn't look like they were the only ones. Quick peek it down detector, which take that for what it is. It's not the greatest, but lots of platforms are having trouble at the same time, so it could have been a broader issue like this, but they got stuff fixed. Hopefully you're not like this poor guy here who had 24 LEDXs and 15 Red Rebels when he extracted and crashed and didn't get out with his loot. Hopefully BSG gives that all back to him. One other quick note, last note before we get to the economy thing I want to talk about is 545 BT and BS got buffed a little bit. So BT went from 40 to 42 pen, and BS went from I think it was 51 to 52 pen. Now, where this matters is it's not a huge change, but it does matter a little bit. So, for example, the 40 to 42 pen means when you're shooting class 4 armor, you have much higher of a chance of getting a pure penetration with no reduction in damage. So I'm not going to go look and waste a bunch of time looking at it because it's not big of a deal, but essentially at 40 pen, if you shoot class 4, it's going to reduce roughly half of the damage, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. But at 42, it's much less likely to do that. You're much more likely to get a full penetration at 42. And the same thing with 52 on level 5 armor. So small buffs, just wanted to point them out. It's nothing major. It's not game changing. It's little tweaks. I've been running a lot of 545, and personally, I haven't noticed any difference. It doesn't feel like people die any faster or anything like that. So just keep that in mind that those were changed. Now, the last thing to talk about is sugar. I get asked this all the time. Should I sell my sugar? Should I sell my sugar? Because people are, people that are really weird and idiots. We tend to save lots of sugar each wipe, and we end up with all of this sugar stashed away. And I'm not even on the extreme end. I know people that have like 4 holodinks full of the stuff. But point being is a lot of us were holding for the high point. And if you look on previous wipes, a year ago, we were seeing like 80, 90, 100K sugar. Last wipe, we saw like 70, 80K. And for some reason, we just have not been able to get high sugar until the last couple of days. Now, last night, this is Friday right now recording this, so Thursday night my time, I actually saw sugar hit 60K briefly. It only did it for a short period of time, and then it came back. But one of the big deals is if you go look at sugar right now, as far as items, we don't have 500 pages of 50,000. So the weekend's going to do crazy things like it always does. We'll see what it does, but I'll bet we hit 60K sometime next week. Fingers crossed. If I hit 60K, I'm dumping all of mine. I'm getting rid of it because I'm tired of sitting on it. And I've got probably 5 or 6 million rubles worth of sugar that I'm going to sell. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm habit. I can't see green things and not click on it. So that's where we're at with that. And then the last thing I want to do is I want to give a quick shout out to my music like I always do. For those of you that are still hanging out, appreciate it. Go give it a listen. Links down below on Spotify. Supports me. It's free to listen to, but it's just like YouTube. Get paid through you guys listening through that. It's also free for any content creators to use in their anything they want. But YouTube, if you want to use it on YouTube or you want to stream it on Twitch, you don't have to worry about DMC takedowns or copyright strikes or anything like that, as long as you attribute us. But people are finding all sorts of clever places to use it. I've seen guys that have like architectural tutorials. You know, there's a couple of game devs, like indie guys, that are using some of the music there. I've seen some of the tournaments use it. Everybody, it's awesome that they're using it. I'm so happy that people are getting use out of it. Go give it a listen. Let me know what you like. It's there. It supports me, and it's free. But we'll wrap her up there. Appreciate you guys watching. I wish you the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.